My name is Oladi Christopher. Before I start my speech, I have a quick question for you. What is the matter that's so urgent and of priority in your heart that you want to do something about, you want to take care of with a wave of the hand? For me, it's on the issue of moral dependence in the society. It's something that is really a burden to my heart. And we as a society is quick to offer solutions to issues like unwanted pregnancy, and we offer solutions to issues such as high incidence of sexually transmitted diseases, and we also offer counseling to teenagers who has become parents at a very untimely manner. But we have not really taken the time to take care of the root of the problems. Um, I think one of the problems that these teenagers face is that of peer group pressure, and one of the ways to avoid it is to teach them adequately, give them the information they need. One of them, one that is of vital importance is chastity and virginity. According to Answers.com, virginity denotes the state of a person who has not had any sexual intercourse, and for a woman, it shows with the hymen still in place, and it is a kind of prerequisite for many cultures before someone can get married. But these are things that are no longer held as important in our time today. It's no longer a virtue embraced by the younger generation at all. And when we look at chastity, according to the Free Web Dictionary, it means abstaining from sexual relations, especially for religious vows. And this is something that's archived in our history. Nobody talks about it. Even parents don't even tell their children anything about chastity. Neither do they talk about virginity. All they talk about is ways, of taking care of other problems in that regard. I know that the media has done a lot in pushing these teenagers into the pressure of having sex before time. When you look at the movies in the TV, you read the magazines, the adverts, the billboard signs. It's all something that makes the teenager crave for something in that regard. And when I say in that regard, I mean sex. And it's something we as individuals should take up as important and begin to fight against, because the media has not given these people the corresponding information to fight what they are seeing on the TV. And what do they end up doing? They end up moving to their peer groups and they pick up information which is not right from them. Most of these teenagers also grow from dysfunctional homes, um, homes where they are trained by single parents who may not really have the time to tell them all that they need to know. And they also grow up in homes that do not have the fear of God in them, that they are not even taught any moral issues, and they come out in the society and most of them become nuisance as a result, and they also left to raise themselves. But what can we do? We as parents and teachers should take it up as something that is of utmost importance. Begin to teach all these teenagers the right way to go. I love the writing of one of my favorite reverends, Reverend Ryan Jones, the curator of Hartington, on this issue. He spoke about the good of chastity, and he said that he takes seriously the power of sex. It's a virtue, according to him, that says no sex. No, sex is more important than that. It should also be noted that this is something that we should teach our teenagers to live within the boundaries of marriage. That is where God has primarily ordained it to be. I can take an example from someone purchasing an equipment from the store. It comes to the user's manual, and you look in the user's manual to find out exact instructions as to how to use this object. And when you don't go by the user's manual, you are bound to make mistakes or even spoil the equipment. That is the same with having sex without being in the confines of marriage. And he even went further to say something that really touched me most. And in the next part of it, he said that he also buttressed that it is also a lifesaver. Ask someone in South Africa or in one of these less privileged or low income countries that has a high epidemic of AIDS, and they will tell you what it means for chastity to be a lifesaver. Because in that place, you don't know whether the next person close to you is HIV positive or not. And in order to keep yourself from contacting such diseases, it's always best to be chaste. And chastity also helps you to, have a peace of mind. It helps you don't think about whether you're going to get pregnant or not. and it saves you from unwanted pregnancies and troubles that come with childcare, dropping out of school, abortion, and stuff like that. It also saves you from emotional and psychological injuries. Teenagers are at the point in their life that they need someone to redirect them. They need someone to help them to re-examine their values and what they have in mind for the future. Try to channel their minds to something that is of more positive accents so that they won't go towards the negative ones. Chastity will bring about peace of mind, like I said before, and it also helps them to earn respect, especially from their spouses and even from people that are around them, like their fellow peer group. They might make jest of them, but there's something about them that they will, also favor, but they won't really say it loud. And chastity is something that will also help them to build up. It's vital for fostering other virtues like patience, perseverance, forbearance, reserve, loyalty, and humility. And in Mawa Jinko, one of my favorite writers on her writing, she said, that was the writer she wrote about why virginity is fine. She said that it's a claim that people that engage in sex, most of them, people that engage in sex before marriage, and most of them end up in divorces in their marriage. I don't know how true that is. You won't want to try it out and find out that it's true. So it's best to be safe than sorry. And I also want to say something else about chastity that I read from Catechism of the Catholic Church 2337. That's how it was captioned. It said that chastity is a lifestyle. It brings about freedom, respect, peace, and even romance without regret. It's a life that it's very difficult to live. But I'll tell you something, there's a way to make it something that is easy. If you find yourself surrounded with people of like minds, teenagers of your kind that really believe what you believe, faith-based teenagers, it will go a long way to help you people, grow up in that way, and it will serve as checks to each other. And there's no better way for teenagers to save themselves from the dangers surrounding sex than to wait till marriage before they do. Abstinence is the way to get virginity, and chastity is a virtue to be embraced by all. Thank you very much.